I'm going to ask you a simple question. What if you just waited for your setup? What if you just refused to take any other trades unless they aligned identically and perfectly to your setup? Here we are on the MES 1-hour chart, and we're going to take a look at the containment zone setups that I use while trading. This is a picture of the past 10 trading days, okay? And we're just quickly going to look at each one of these days to see if there was a setup. If we look at this day here, we can see that we have a containment zone, right? So when we trade containment zones, we wait for a breakout with a gap, and then we wait for a retest of that gap. Or we may trade the secret level of that containment zone. Here you see we have a containment zone and a candle has broken out of the gap. So what we're waiting for is for that next candle to give us a breakout. But in this case, you see that the very next candle trades back into the zone. So when that occurs, we expand our extension. So if we take this containment zone extension and we expand it here, right? We're just going to turn this blue. You can see that we've now expanded our containment zone because a candle broke out, did not give us a gap, right? So now this is our containment zone. And you can see here that this candle has broken out to the bottom of the containment zone. It's given us a bearish gap here. And it's also given us another bearish gap here. So we can take that and expand it across. What's the strategy say? We look for a breakout of a containment zone and we can enter on a retest of that breakout. So if we entered here on this retest of this first breakout, place our stop above the zone, right? And then we target lower prices. That would have been our first trade. Now here we have another containment zone, right? We can see that price has broken out of this containment zone, but similar to our first setup, the very next candle has traded back inside the zone without giving us a gap. So we simply draw out our extension, right? So we expand our extension here, right? So now this is our containment zone, but this containment zone did something very unique. It came back and tested the secret level. This is another one of our strategies when we trade containment zones. We wait for price to break out and come back and test the secret level. We enter, place our stop below the containment zone, and we look for higher prices. In this case, we're expecting price to trade back into this untested breakout gap. So now that's our second trade. You notice that with each of these trades, we're trading in the right direction to take the move, okay? So now here we are back in our first breakout gap where price needs to make a decision. So our strategy says that we can enter on a retest of a gap, place our stop above the zone, which would have been there, and we can target lower prices. In this case, we just target the secret level from a previous containment zone. That's our third successful trade. If we take a look at the next containment zone here, right, we can see that very similar to previous containment zones, we had a breakout here, right? So we'll just draw the expansion here, right? But like a previous containment zone, price came back to retest the secret level, right? That's another one of our setups. We place our stop below the zone and we target higher prices. In this case, we could have exited some of our position there and left one to run. Here we're looking at another containment zone, right? Where it gives us the perfect setup that we always look for, which is a breakout with a gap and a secret level. So when price broke out of this containment zone and created this breakout gap, we could have entered here on the retest of the gap, place our stop above the zone. Price pushed up further to retest the secret level. This could have been another entry here. So we would have ended up somewhere around here, right? And then as price reversed from that secret level and dropped, we could have capitalized on that move down. So you can see that with each containment zone, we're trading in the right direction. We aren't trading against the market, we're trading with the market. And that's how we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 easy, successful trades based on rules. So I ask you again, what if you just waited on your setup?